This show is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Wall Street Raw. Happy 4th of July. This is our broadcast for Saturday, July 2nd. Many of you may be on the road and may be listening to this broadcast on tape or on a podcast. But if you are live, thank you for joining us here on a Saturday morning when many are on the road traveling or taking a bit of a break. It's been a tumultuous week in the stock market, up after coming down the week prior. Even I was amazed by the amount of central bank purchasing that had gone on all week, and I'm talking about manipulation, rigging of the markets. It's called rigging of the markets, where many trillions were used to support, I feel, the fake valuations that are out there in order to paint the tape into the 4th of July, which historically is a positive period. There are statistics that show July 1st, yesterday, Friday, is generally the most bullish day of the year, according to the Stock Traders Almanac. My old friend Jeff Hirsch and Yale Hirsch, they did these studies for many years, and they said in the past 21 years, the S&P has advanced 86% of the time on the first trading day of July. So we'll see what's going to happen next week. We are, in my view, still in the sell May, go away period, and more on that during the program. So I want to thank you for joining us. Many of you may or may not know a little bit about me. I used to be an elf on the old Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week television program from the 1980s, 1990s, and hosted along with Paul Kangas on Nightly Business Report, the Market Monitor segment, for about 30 years. Top market timer. Timer Digest magazine has ranked me #1 market timer a couple years, and in the top 10 ranks for just going about 20 years now. So we do our best to try to time the markets and try to prevent clients from being in there when we have these crashes like we saw in the week prior, where I was bearish. And on these broadcasts, I told you that I thought that the rally was a dead cat bounce, and then sure enough, the Brexit vote came in, and the market, Dow Industrials itself, collapsed 1,000 points. So certainly, we were on the money there. And then it looked like a bounce, and we told you that there would be a bit of a rally. I have to be frank and tell you that the rally I thought was more than I would have expected. But again, it's part and parcel to this manipulation. We have just rigged markets in the world, and I suppose individual investors don't care, because if the markets go up, they don't care how it gets there. If the government's supporting stock prices, as we see aggressively going on in China and Japan, or in Europe, where in Europe now they're buying corporate bonds, negative interest rates there, and in Japan and in Sweden, all kinds of fun things are going on around the world. So it's going to continue until it finally blows up, and we don't know when that's going to be. And Dow Industrials could be 40,000 by the time it blows up. We just don't know. It's just called rigging. And this past week, in fact, we saw bond yields making record lows, where you heard for the last several years, and we were on the opposite side of this, if you've been following our work at vrtrader.com, that everybody was bearish on bonds. So interest rates are going up. You know, you got to get out of the bond market. You got to put your money someplace else. Rates are going up, and sure enough, we've been saying no, bonds are going to stay down, if not rally. And in fact, if we go to negative interest rates, there's going to be an explosive continued move to the upside in the bond market, where you can make money on bonds. I believe the 10-year yield now touched 1.37%, and the 30-year touched 2.20%, which are record numbers. So in Japan this past week, we saw a record low of minus 28 basis points over there as they continue to sink into negative interest rate territory. So a lot of questions asked. I don't have all the answers for you, but it appears, you know, central banks will do whatever they can to support the markets, and I suppose they can keep rates low or into negative territory that could drive prices higher. I want you to check with VR Trader if you haven't already and sign in. We're going to have interesting stories in our weekend letter going out next week about two subjects which are not covered very much. Considering it's the 4th of July, we're going to have an article about Haim Solomon, the Jewish hero of the Revolutionary War, and how he helped George Washington finance needed supplies during the critical moments during the Revolutionary War. So we're going to include that. We don't have time to cover all that in this hour show. And we're also going to cover an interesting story which many Americans or historians are not aware of, or those who go to high school currently who don't really study American history as they should. As you know, we seem to be rewriting history, but apparently the U.S. did declare war on Islam over about 200 years ago, and it was part and parcel to what Thomas Jefferson was pushing for at that time because of the action of the Barbary pirates attacking American ships. So Muslim pirates are very much involved, and we were at war with Islam 200 years ago. So what's happening today in the world shouldn't be any great surprise, as this is an ongoing event for centuries. So two articles in our vrtrader.com newsletter. I encourage you to sign up and check over there. If not, you can sign up for our free reports. We have a free weekly Gold News Raw report and a weekly Vice News Raw report. You'll hear about that on the commercial breaks. And these are just summary of news events in the gold market and the Vice market. Vice market meaning we're covering everything from alcohol and gaming to cannabis stocks, which is a new exciting area for those of you who have been trading and following some of our recommendations over the last couple of years. Just an opportunity. Even though marijuana is illegal, it's on the it's not off Schedule 1 according to the federal government. There's still about 200 or 300 publicly traded companies out there that trade or are involved in that business. So we're out there following the markets and following the money, and that's what we're attempting to do there. So I want to encourage you. Also want to mention, as I did last week, I know it's a year away, but we are taking reservations through my good friend Stephanie Cameraman for the cruise next July to Alaska, where we're going to have a bunch of technical analysts, including myself and my friend Jeff Hirsch and my friend Harry Boxer, who have both been on this program attending. So to get a big discount at this time, a year in advance, I would encourage you to go to www.swtcruise.com. That's www.swtcruise.com, and sign up early and save some money there and get some extra benefits. It'll be an exciting cruise, learn a little bit about technical analysis, and have some good fun at the same time. So we want to reinforce that for you as well. A lot going on this week. We're going to talk a little bit about it with Sinclair when he joins us later in the show. But as you know, Puerto Rico defaulted Friday on debt that it was supposed to be guaranteed by the Puerto Rican Constitution. But we had, I wouldn't call it a bailout, but we got the U.S. Senate involved in trying to support the situation in Puerto Rico. I think that's no great surprise. It was a default, but we knew that someone was going to try to help them along the way. So stay tuned. We've got Sinclair Noe joining us and my friend Henry Weingarten on this exciting Wall Street Week radio show.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I'm Nick Sobolewski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
There is an affordable alternative to the high cost of health care that offers freedom from insurance while providing compliance with the Obamacare individual mandate. Imagine having access to quality, affordable health care that allows you the freedom to choose your doctor and hospital. Members can share up to 100% of necessary medical expenses, including some alternative treatments. Find out how you and your family can contain healthcare costs without giving up your freedom. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back, Sinclair Noe, my good friend from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. Welcome back on this holiday weekend, Sinclair. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Well, is it a holiday in Britain this weekend or in Europe this weekend? Who's celebrating and who's not celebrating? It appears a lot of divisiveness has unfolded since the vote. A little bit of bitterness on the European side, Scotland in particular, and even Francois Hollande said there will be no longer London will be no longer the center for euro-denominated clearing following the Brexit vote. So, again, a little bit of hard feelings there.
Yeah, this is turning into a nasty divorce, is what it's looking like. Scotland, which went through their own referendum vote for leaving the UK a couple of years back, is now looking at the issue again because they'd like to remain in the EU. The voters in Scotland voted to remain in the EU. However, they did not rule the day a little over a week ago. But now they're looking at it again. Meanwhile, the European Commission held meetings this week, and the general opinion coming from Germany and France and Spain was, okay, you guys are going to be out. That's it. And you're not going to get special treatment once you're out. And you can't cherry pick what you want and don't want. You're going to get the basic deal, and it's not going to be as good as being a member of the EU. It's going to cost you. Now, it's probably going to cost both sides, both the United Kingdom and the European Union. And the European Union is not in particularly strong shape right now to begin with. Germany doing pretty good, France doing pretty good. Spain, of course, is looking at depression-level unemployment, as well as Greece. Italy, we've already started to see some banking problems there, and there is some government bail-in talk going on to save some of the banks there. The Italian banks in the Milan Bourse were really pummeled over the past week. That was one of the weakest areas in the entire market. And then, of course, we learned from the IMF that they consider Deutsche Bank to be one of the biggest threats to the financial system in all of banking right now. That came out even as Deutsche Bank, along with Santander, their U.S. units, were the two that failed the stress test held by the Federal Reserve this past week. So there's some weakness. This could still turn bad in so many different ways. But the news, I think, that was so amazing is after that two-day crash. I mean, remember Friday following the Brexit vote, Dow Industrials down 610 points. That was an ugly, ugly session. The 2 days, Friday and Monday, turned out to be the worst two-day losses in over 10 months. And then all of a sudden everything got better.
Yeah, it was one hell of a trading opportunity for those that had the nerve to jump in and take advantage of that sell-off. But there are thoughts out there that it's a bank-induced rally, a little bit of that plunge protection team at work, so to speak, Sinclair?
You got to think. You've got to think that they were collaborating on this. And then one little telltale, look at the LIBOR, the London Interbank Offered Rate. All this carnage going on in the financial markets following the Brexit vote. That Friday and Monday, the markets were just falling, the pound sterling dropping like crazy. What happened to LIBOR, the London Interbank Offered Rate? What happened? Absolutely nothing. It did not budge. There was one brief little spike that took place, and that was it, and then nothing. LIBOR has not shifted, in large part because the central banks around the world were flooding the financial system with cheap liquidity. They've been doing it for years, we know that, but they were really trying to avoid some Lehman Brothers kind of a meltdown. And so you have all these banks putting in their positions on LIBOR, and nothing changes at all. It is absolutely astonishing that could be the case.
Apparently they're steady enough to be buying back their own shares after they pass the little bit of that stress test. It's really interesting what's going on this past week. They're out there gobbling up their shares. Where's all this money coming from?
Yeah, apparently the banks are so strong now that 31 of the 33 passed the stress test in the U.S., which means, of course, they can do stock buybacks and dividend payouts to the tune of $93 billion or so. Now, I hope they're strong enough because, quite frankly, if they ever go belly up again like they did in 2008, I'm going to remember the $93 billion payout this year alone that went straight to shareholders' pockets, and that's where it should come from the next time, not from taxpayers.
The government's not supposed to be bailing them out anymore, I heard, Sinclair, so
yeah,
we'll see.
It's not going to happen. No problem. The banks are strong enough now. You didn't get that memo?
That's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing. But just amazing stuff going on. So, the real issue here, bottom line is whether this recovery rally we've seen, of course, we're running into the holiday weekend, and traditionally this is one of the strongest weeks of the year into the 4th of July, seasonality, a little bit of a pop, but could have been a dead cat bounce. A little bit of a dead cat bounce. We'll find out.
I think it was certainly a short squeeze that took place here.
And we'll find out after the holidays for sure. But we're still, in my opinion, that sell may go away period. A lot of volatility, and it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds here. Maybe it'll stay strong into July, but I still think we have August, September, October to deal with, and the elections and a lot of uncertainty out there. We ran out of time. Unfortunately, Sinclair, thank you for joining us. We're talking to Sinclair Noe, my good friend from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of EatTheBankers.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, an exciting week, as you know, for the month of June. In fact, the Dow added 64 points. The S&P gained 2 points, and the NASDAQ was down 106. So June included some brutal Brexit-related losses, and the Dow is still down about 80 points from last Thursday, pre-Brexit. The S&P is still down about 15 points, and the NASDAQ is down about 68 points still. So it was a nice bounce back, and the best three-day rally in 4 months, following the worst two-day decline for Wall Street in 10 months. But still, as I just mentioned to Sinclair, government-induced plunge protection team rally may continue here into early July, but we're still in that sell may go away period, and the jury is still out about what's going to happen with Brexit. Well, stay tuned. We're going to have Sinclair back and my good friend Henry Weingarten joining us as well.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507.
This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Back, my good friend Sinclair Noe from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, this past week we also saw the Puerto Rican bailout apparently now underway, when there was so much talk up to this point in time that we weren't going to do anything to help Puerto Rico. But now looks like the bill passed the Senate and Obama wants to sign it.
Yeah, and it's not really a bailout at this point. Basically, though, it is stopping lawsuits against Puerto Rico for their defaults. And on Friday, Puerto Rico did indeed default, and about $2 billion worth of payments due, $900 million or so of that in the form of general obligation bonds. Interest and principal due on GO bonds. And these are constitutionally top-tier debt, constitutionally guaranteed by the Constitution of Puerto Rico. In other words, this is the best debt there is out of Puerto Rico, and they are defaulting on it. They say they just don't have the cash to pay, and they're not going to pay. And Congress passed a bill literally the day before saying, okay, but you can't be sued for not paying. And we're going to institute a financial oversight board that's going to try and determine where the money is and what can be paid going forward. Where this should really fall is on the major insurers that back bondholder debt. And that is basically, in this case, AMBAC Financial Assured Guarantee and National Public Finance Group. They're on the line for somewhere in the neighborhood of about $750 million or so that's coming out here. So there's a big hit there. Now, then the question is, does it carry over to the rest of the muni market? I don't think so. I think that this is largely a Puerto Rican situation because of the unique circumstances of Puerto Rico. Still, though, when the insurers take a hit like that, they're going to start charging more for insurance for everybody. That's just how it works. And so it's going to make it a little bit less of a deal in the muni bond market, I'm imagining. Meanwhile, I think one of the big things that we haven't really talked about yet, bond yields have just taken a dive. I mean, the 10-year Treasury dropped down as low as 1.37% this past week. Japan is in negative territory on their 10, as well as Germany. The UK dropped down to about 78 basis points on their 10-year Treasury yield, the gilt. So
flight to safety. Flight to safety and very deflationary at the same time. These are tricky times right now. I think we're really looking at a slow-motion train wreck taking place here. You don't have deflation like that and economic growth at the same time. So I think that's going to be the situation in Europe and the UK, and we're not seeing the growth coming out of Japan, and it's going to affect us to some extent here in the U.S. as well. Of course, the bull's going to argue that this is a wall of worry, and we got a lot to worry about out there, but the market seems to hold up. So whether it's manipulated on the part of the central banks, which is my belief, or whether it's just a function of where's money going to go, time will tell. That's for sure.
I think it is being manipulated by the central banks, and I think that they're not calling it manipulation. They're saying we're collaborating now to avoid economic chaos. Well, okay, thank you very much, but it's not a real market anymore, is it?
Well, it hasn't been for several years, Sinclair. That's the problem. We don't have free markets. We have what you and I call rig markets, so that's part and parcel. But I guess if you're an investor and your 401k is appreciating, you're happy, So maybe
we'll see how long we can climb a wall of worry without backing it up with some actual economic statistics and economic growth. At some point, you need an underlying fundamental growth to back up growth in the markets.
This week we had some interesting speculation going on with a big-name stock, Hershey, which Mondelez International, which, as you know, is a $23 billion offer, I believe, is what I'm reading. And that came out of the blue. Hershey's been a takeover favorite for a long time and never seems to happen since the company and their board really don't want to cooperate with any acquirers. But that's an interesting story, since money seems to be flowing to the consumer, staples here.
Well, there's that, and the board there is 80% of the voting shares in Hershey are owned by a charitable trust set up by Milton Hershey and his wife back over 100 years ago. So they don't really have to do that. They can just kind of keep doing whatever they want, and they've turned down offers in the past. One of the interesting things, I think, is that we're seeing a lot of these big deals either not happening or falling apart. Case in point seems to be Cigna and Anthem, the big health merger deal. That one is not going to get regulatory approval, doesn't look like, and that's another big one that's probably going to fall apart. Williams Company and Energy Transfer. That was, I think, in the neighborhood of $30 billion, give or take, and that one, the board voted it down as well. We just haven't seen a whole lot of merger activity going on. It's been falling apart really all of 2016.
Well, some of the shareholders, obviously, as Hershey, are happy that to see their stock surge as much as it did. And as I mentioned earlier, those consumer staples like General Mills and others have been doing well, which, again, is, as you pointed out with the strength in the bond market, I think just another function of flight to safety in this uncertain time.
Sure. I absolutely agree. People around the world are looking for a safe place to put their money. and it's becoming a little bit more and more difficult to find that safety.
Where else could you find more safety than some chocolate bars, right?
People are always going to eat chocolate. Come on.
Right. Have a great holiday, Sinclair. Thanks for joining us here on the 4th of July weekend. We're talking to our good friend Sinclair Noe from KFNN 1510 and author of the great blog, EatTheBankers.com. Have a great weekend again, Sinclair. Thanks for joining us.
Happy holiday, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you again, Sinclair. And we didn't touch on the gold market and silver market here, which I've talked about for many months here on these radio broadcasts. But as you know, gold surged to a new recovery peak at $1,345 an ounce on Friday, and silver got to $19.98 an ounce. It's unbelievable that we're finally getting that move up there, and it still has more life in it, in my opinion. So we're going to get our swings and our volatility, but the precious metals are a refuge, and with what's going on with Brexit and the possible leaving of other countries from that group and uncertainty with bonds rallying, as we've discussed on the program, negative interest rates, this is a 5,000-year-old investment that, even though it had its volatility, is definitely insurance for all of you out there. So still, we do produce a VR Gold letter, so please check with us there. We try to time that a little bit and provide you some recommendations. So that's one of our products here at VRTrader.com. So stay tuned. I have my good friend Henry Weingarten joining us here after the break.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
I'm Jesse Gonzalez, Vice President at Kmart. Do you know that premature birth is the #1 killer of babies in the United States, or that survivors can face a lifetime of serious health problems? But you can help. Join me in Kmart for the March for Babies Walk. We'll work together to raise funds for research and programs that help the marginalized fight premature birth and birth defects and improves the health of moms and babies. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my good friend Henry Weingarten, who's the managing director of the Astrologers Fund. And as you may recall from our previous interviews, he's the managing director of that fund for over 28 years. A practicing astrologer, but more importantly, he's a great market technician who uses technical analysis and also consults with institutional investors and money managers worldwide. Known Henry for many years. Excellent calls on the market, Henry, these past 3 weeks, and here we are into the 4th of July weekend. The market's rallied, looks like almost 1,000 points from at least the Dow from its low on the Brexit sell-off. So is this a dead cat bounce?
Well, let's put it this way. This is trading nonsense. You know, we had suggested to people to cover or protect their shorts on Tuesday, which worked very nicely, and we said we would go short again as close to 18,000 as we could. In fact, we got 18,000 on Friday. Unfortunately, the stock market does not reflect economic fundamentals anymore. And there's so much interference by the government. So this is just a playing game. Now, what's more important going ahead, we're resuming our bearish stance. And there are at least one and probably two strong downward moves in July for the markets. We're still in the sell in May, go away numbers from 18,000, although we've had it played inside out. So it's not a question of a dead cat bounce. It's a question if you can't believe what you hear, because initially, Brexit was the end of the world. 2 days later, Brexit doesn't matter. No, that isn't all nonsense. The point is that stocks and basically earnings are not that great, and therefore the market is overvalued. What's more interesting, however, to us is gold and silver. I mean, gold is now firmly above 1,300 on its way to fair value and probably exceeding it, which is 1,380. Silver has now 18 as a floor rather than as a resistance on its way to 20 to 22. Its fair value is currently 2,150. So we have to decide what we're going to do about that. And our view was when gold gets to 1,450 to 1,500, we'll start selling it and shorting it, and silver somewhere between 25 and 30. So those certainly will do very well. Certainly the gold and silver stocks will do very well. And then in a little while, this is early, the oil stocks. So if it's either trade it or you just go away and forget about it and come back in September.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're watching the metals rally along with the stock market, and some days we're watching the metals rally even with the dollar strong. So they're really on their own now. They're doing their own thing, which is the way, I guess you would agree, is the way to evaluate markets, not to try to tie markets together and look at them independently.
Well, except, I mean, we do intermarket analysis, but the thing is that, there are a record number of long gold options in the futures market. I think it's like 650,000 as opposed to like 300,000. So it's more than double. So there's a tremendous amount of buying among the hedge funds. I mean, the point is, where do you get your safety today? I mean, the market is certainly not safe. I mean, it can continue up, but it can certainly drop 1,000 points tomorrow. It wouldn't take much. So gold itself is obviously a lot more stable. So for us, it's sort of a no-brainer. Plus, it has good astro all year. Not as good as January and February, but it's still the best in 25 years or 30 years. So you have momentum for it. You have fundamentals for it. And if you're British, for example, and you had your money in the gold, you made money, and it's a very good dollar hedge. So we think it's going to do very well and continue to do well, although it's going to get overvalued probably sometime this summer.
Well, as the currencies come down, as you just discussed in Britain and other places, we've had bull markets all year in the gold, even before it broke out here in the U.S. with the devaluation of currencies worldwide. So it depends. If you held gold in the yen, for example, you've been enjoying a rally for a long time, even before now. So that's really
correct.
Interesting.
And the euro as well.
And we're right. So here we're just U.S. centrist based and thinking only of us as the center of the world here, but there's so many other things going on, like we just discussed.
We're not the center?
I thought that's what the Wall Street tries to tell us.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
So go ahead.
Yeah, go on. Well, Brexit has helped a little bit. I mean, it is true you could say there's some more safety in the U.S., if you're European. But it's a question of valuation. I mean, we're cosmic value players as well as technicians. That is to say, we like to buy something when it's cheap. We like to sell it when it's expensive, which allows us to sleep at night. We're not momentum players. And clearly, even the U.S. market has a lot going for it. It's still, by most measures, overvalued on a fundamental basis. And almost every year we get a sell in May that works. It may be April, it may be May, it may be June, it may be July, but you normally have it. And you always have the October scare, whether you have it in September or October or November. So you've got those two things, plus one or two little astrological things that suggest that markets are going to go down. So there's no question about that. It's just a question of when and, for how long. But again, we're bullish for next year. So, I mean, you could sit and go away, too, and come back a year from now and not worry about it.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. So if Trump gets in, or maybe if he doesn't get in.
When Trump gets in. When he gets in.
So when he gets in, the market will take off again. That's basically the approach.
Right. And two things you have to remember about that. Number one, of course, is that primarily by reducing regulation, that's going to help a lot of businesses. Not necessarily all the biggest ones, but it's going to help most mid-caps, for example, and small caps will do gangbusters. And the other thing is, I laugh about this, but, Trump, is very big on gold, has gold faucets, gold toilets, and everything. So, gold jewelry's got to do well. Just like when Bush came in, Tex-Mexican restaurants did well, that sort of thing. So you got to figure gold jewelry's got to do well.
Henry, it's always such a pleasure having you on the show and giving us these regular updates. So I appreciate you tuning in and listening and checking on our recordings as well, because I send you copies of our recordings, right. and you're staying on top of what we're saying here at Wall Street Raw, and I appreciate all your input, and our listeners do as well. So we're talking to Henry Weingarten from the Astrologist Front. Henry, so far, listeners want to get in touch with you. What's the best way?
Well, just go to our website, www.afund.com, or send an email to hw@afund.com. Either way, we get to me.
Okay, www.afund.com to reach Henry, and thanks again for joining us on this holiday weekend. Have a great 4th, and thanks for joining us. Henry, thanks again. And, we've had Henry on for a couple of weeks because of the calls and also that Trump connection. And it's very interesting because both he and I have been recommending the cement stocks. And I'm not going to mention names on the air. They're in our newsletter. But there's been an explosive move to the upside in many of these material-type companies in anticipation of that wall being built, which I think will be the case. And so we've been doing well there, and Henry made that call as well earlier in the year. So I think that's just a way of profiting, so to speak, using our capitalistic approach here and trying to figure out how to benefit from that. And of course, Henry indicated that less regulation would also help a lot of businesses as well. So the basic theory is that, markets are going to experience indigestion on and off here into the fall. And whether we take out the lows of this past week, I think they will come out. That's around that 17,000 level in the Dow Industrials. And it was about 1990 or so in the S&P. Those come out, and somewhere below there, or at least equivalent to those levels, there should be a buying opportunity into the fall. And the sell may go away pattern is gone. And if Trump gets in, and of course Henry thinks he will, the market should respond to the upside because it is better for business, and we have a lot of pressure against it. Another thing to keep in mind is, I'm very much anti the financial press because they don't really report, and the conventional press is just as bad. But you can't believe any of the polls out there, as we already learned in Europe with the false predictions regarding the outcome of the Brexit vote. So you have to keep that in mind, and what you're hearing in the media is not always the truth. You got to look at the numbers, and we do have an international revolution underway, independent revolution, where I guess voters want to be doing something different come this fall. We already saw that in Europe, so I think that's something you also have to keep in mind. Meanwhile, I want to remind you, as I do every week, my good friend from Financial News Network from many, many years ago, Ed Hart, used to close his program with the phrase, and we do it here as well, "We will know in the fullness of time." Speak to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.